Okay, and there we go. Okay, so now we are going to be starting back with the session. So, last session, you guys ended up meeting a new ally in Reina. And she was a little pixie that decided to defect from the scouting party because she was conscripted and really didn't like the idea of attacking random people and also really didn't like the idea of aiding in this war. So she decided to help you guys and has informed you of the location of various portals from the Feywilds. And here is a map of the forest, which will be indicating roughly where a lot of these trees and entrances are. All of these lights are various cairns, and that is basically just piles of stones that people can walk through as portals. All of the differently colored trees are indicating trees with portals on them. All of the mushrooms are indicating various, like, fairy circles. So this is what has been the result of Senshin and Reina's searching so far. So this is what you're going to be presenting to the summit meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But first things first, you guys have some allies that you're going to need to meet. So, Senshin, I believe that you're going to be going to meet with the Jigoku Umare families that will be arriving.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, did Kana have a specific place she needed to go? Obviously, there's Andrew.
To space.
No, Kana's already been to space and she's come back.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't take that long to go to space.
Especially not when you have,
Were you about to do a spoiler?
I was about to say a rocket ship, but she doesn't have a rocket ship. I'm being dumb. Don't worry about it. Kana, I can confirm that Kana and family do not, in fact, have a rocket ship.
Yes.
Unfortunately. Because they are very cool. But anyway, yeah. Taishiro, Nessa is specifically requesting that you come with her to the docks. She said that she doesn't mind who else comes with her, but she especially wants you to come with her.
Do you have any bread buns?
I can get some on the way.
Yay! Okay.
All right. Anyone else want to join me?
Roll back. Who's going there? Sorry, I zoned out.
Okay. All right.
Senshin, you're going to meet your extended
yes,
family.
I know what Senshin's doing, and then I kind of clocked for a second.
Okay.
Kana is reminiscing about space, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So, Senshin, your family are probably going to be coming through on this road next to the Red Forest. So, it's likely that they're probably going to end up possibly encountering some ferrets. So you might want to intervene to make sure they don't start hunting.
Yeah, I'll be intervening there.
Yeah, you're gonna need to be intervening to make sure that your family doesn't go, "Ooh, food source." So, yeah.
What's a food source?
Yeah, it's like, hey.
The ferrets would be, but what about the crocodile?
Yeah. It's kind of like,
on the other hand,
it's like,
on the other hand, we would butcher its carcass and then heat
exactly.
It up.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, hey, at least ask me out to dinner first, even though I will be your dinner, but hey, it's really nice.
We want to eat the crocodile.
At least let me dress up for you eating me.
Yeah, at least give me the time. I mean, I can make myself look really nice, really spicy. As long as you don't eat Steve,
oh my god, you'd be the best. Oh my god, the entire Red Forest gang would be the absolute champion of any kid's fairy tale.
Yep.
No sir, you can't eat me. I'm not even in a suit.
And they're just like, fuck off, we want to eat your crocodile.
Well, he's one of us. He's a ferret. That's a crocodile.
Well, then, that's a crocodile, and I've already killed it and eaten it.
So, yeah, anyway, that's where Senshin and Andrew are likely going to be going. Nessa is requesting Taishiro go to the docks, because I think you can figure out who's going to be there. And no other special requests from anyone in particular. It just looks like there's a bunch of people minding their own business. So, yeah. That's going to be where. So, do we want to start with Senshin or do we want to start with Taishiro?
Start with Ascension.
I get it. If that's what you're saying, I'll do it.
All right.
Question is, where's David going?
Oh yeah, David.
You can go wherever you want, man.
You gonna
Oh,
go with
like-
you gonna go with Ascension or with Taishiro? Or
You haven't been
do something
specifically
else?
requested anywhere, but you're welcome to tag along wherever you want.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Taishiro just to make it all even.
All right.
What? How would that make it even?
I'll send Raisha to the docks too, so I've got a character in that business.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, in that case, Senshin and David will be heading towards the forest where they will end up meeting Andrew. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Senshin will go to the forest. He will meet Andrew there. And everyone else is going to the docks. So, you will see a bunch of the Jigoku Umare family who will seemingly have some pretty large packs that all look like they're filled with various weapons and equipment. And they'll be walking past the Red Forest. You can see a couple of them looking over at it, looking to see if there's any animals that they could slay. They're looking like they've been doing a forced march for a couple of days. One of them will notice you and will wave. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys got here on time.
Yes, we got here as early as we could. There may be a couple of other families that are behind us, but they may be a couple of days further out. We came from the Hells, so we're obviously a bit closer than some of those who have to travel by sea.
Yeah, that's fair. We really need to make sure we keep teleporters on retainer at some point.
That would certainly be helpful. By the way,
Yeah.
have you been to the Underdark lately? It looks really empty. That certainly sped up our journey a lot.
Yeah, it was an interesting trip.
I look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah. So that's good. How many of you guys have we got in this one group?
You'll see about 100.
Okay, good. Can I get whichever one of you guys is the head logistica? I need numbers, hero steel.
Got it. Let me see. I know about 50 of the people here can use it to some effect. The other 50 I'm not certain about.
Right. Well, once you just give me it and we'll work out priority. We're working alongside both the Dubel and the Tida, so we'll be able to work out whoever's best and give them to them there.
Impressive. You managed to get them to work together on something. They must be really concerned.
Yes. Also, it's real easy when you're the one doing both the trade deals.
That is very true. Well then, since I am here, and he will just straighten up and look like he's doing a bit of a salute, I am Fuchiga, head of this household. I look forward to working under you.
I look forward to working with you.
All right then. And
Yes,
they will just start wandering into the Noble District.
Yeah, Seth will just be sitting on an out rock, basically just watching them go in and keeping an eye on the Red Forest.
Well, I suppose they looked quite lively, didn't they? And the Pharaoh will walk over with Savage Steve.
Once we have settled down and got our packs in place, would you know of any good places for us to eat? It's been a long couple of days.
That's fair. Check with the... currently my father, mother, and brother are all up, probably dealing with stuff at the palace, so you'll be able to check there. They'll be able to give us the best idea for our food stores.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Elders is going to be a battleground, and Red Forest is off limits for other reasons.
Got it. In that case, we will be seeing you shortly. And you'll just see them all heading towards the castle, and they'll just start talking with the guard at the gate. You'll see that your parents will arrive at the front gate, and will start letting them in and just speaking to them. And then they'll just send them towards a couple of houses in the Noble District where they'll all drop their packs. Then it looks like they all slowly start to disperse across the Merchant District. And then you start to hear some yelling from the castle. You think you recognize it. It's the same bell that they keep clanging at various different points. Senshin, make an insight check.
I don't have good insight, but let's see how that goes.
Oh, wow.
This is the same bell that they always seem to ring whenever you ask for food. And it's clanging so many times more than it usually does when it's you. You think it clanged about 105 times. And then you start to realize that the phrasing that Raijin always seemed to smirk a little bit whenever they said it. And you recognize the name Jigoku Ubare. Your guess is that it's some kind of code from the kitchen, basically saying, panic, get every piece of meat that you possibly can from any surrounding farms. There's a lot of people who are very, very, very hungry.
Well, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the merchant district's going to make a fuck ton of money off of this, like, next couple days from them just eating.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, they're also probably going to go into a massive resource null.
That's not my problem.
I don't think they're going to complain about the massive mound of gold they'll be sitting on. I'm just going to put it out there.
Until the pirates come, that is.
Anyway.
The pirates the pirates are here-ish soon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the party was going to meet the pirates. Like, that is going to be the next thing on the agenda. So...
Yeah, so she was basically just watching... No, it's fine. Basically just sitting up top, just watching him just walk past, like, this will be fine, everything's fine, no one try to eat our allies.
They would have only tried to eat the crocodile, but, like, the crocodile is an ally.
So you have 2 crocodile allies.
Yeah,
crocodile.
I give a substantial amount more shit about Reina and her crocodile than I do about Savage. So
yeah, but he still probably wants to make sure that, you know, allies aren't trying to eat other allies.
Yeah, that seems like a really bad way to run a war when you're having to deal with civil war.
Civil war. Hey, your crew tried to eat my friend. Yeah, great job.
Sounds like a common problem on the New World.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Yeah. So Senshin has returned back to the castle area or wherever else you wanted to go after that because the Red Forest is safe and none of the Jigoku Umare clan have attempted to eat any of Andrew's friends. So that is a good thing. All right. So the rest of the party, you will see several various ships, all of which are flying skull and crossbones, and they'll just look for a place to dock. Nessa will set up a flag right off the edge of the port, and we'll just encourage them to dock there. They will all settle down, and the captain of the lead ship will jump down, seemingly doing a couple of somersaults, and look down at Nessa. Nessa, you've grown so much. Oh, it looks like you're eating well. How are you doing? Okay. How have things been with the brigade? I know you can't tell me much because it's got plenty of, well, national secrets, but, well, have you been enjoying it? Is it good for you? Hey, Auntie, calm down, okay? Oh, is this a friend of yours? And she'll gesture towards Taishiro.
The other, so David and me staying on the side giggling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tashiro's just gonna like grab David's arm, just like David! Pirates!
Oh.
We got pirates!
Oh, no need to worry. We're here to help.
He's not worried. He's very excited, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Quickly,
good then.
Quickly! And he's just gonna like run directly up to the captain lady and just like hand over his notebook. Just quickly, can you write down everything about what you do right in here? I've got a kid.
No,
Oh!
War! The war!
I would be glad to. Absolutely. Especially since there's a couple of days going. And maybe we could exchange stories. I could write down what we do and you could tell us some of what you do. I mean, if you're collecting this many stories, then you must be a bard, right? We haven't met one in so long.
Exchange stories.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. No, so Rose is gonna pick him up. No, not right now. The adults need to talk, and just basically pick him up by his head, turn him around, and plop him next to David.
We'll chat later. Oh,
Mm.
I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Captain Anna, and I'm the one that is the leader of these allied pirates here. These are all various, I'll say, friendly rival crews of mine. But, well, we're all working together now.
That's
So
fair.
I'm told we're here to prevent an invasion of sorts.
Yes, we have a small issue of a upcoming invasion from the Feywilds.
I see. One of those, then. Well,
Yes.
that's certainly going to be a pain, but, well, we are all well prepared for combat, of course. Most of us are very well equipped to use firearms, and we've got quite a few magic users among our crew.
Well, that should be beneficial then. How many do you number?
All right, let me see. My crew numbers about 25, and then there's a couple more crews. Let's see. There's probably about 15 ships, 25 each. So, let me see. This is just me as Alex doing the calculations. So,
15 times 25?
all right. Near 400, 375. Of course, there may be a couple of extra stowaways, but that's how many are in the official crew.
American.
Yeah?
What's your? So who are your best members?
Well, my best
What are their
members.
abilities?
And so she'll gesture towards a blue winged tiefling who you don't see those very often. Most tieflings are typically red in color or appear more humanoid. You haven't seen or heard of a blue tiefling before. Well, Mayhem over here is pretty good. She's got some pretty strong magical attacks. Tends to be able to cause a lot of chaos wherever she goes.
Okay. So we have 400, and Session's number last time was 900. That gives us 1300.
We have a chaos. We have a chaos mage. Okay.
Yeah, you betcha. I can set out all sorts of wild magic effects. But, well, the main thing that I'm useful at is, well, let's just say I can turn a lot of attacks back on their users. In other words, for fairies, that could cause a lot of chaos considering the kind of magic they normally use. They're about to be enchanting themselves all over the place. They won't know what hit them.
Raijin, we should put her on the front line, shouldn't we?
I'm up for that.
I think we should leave that strategy for the strategists, not us.
Oh, but come on, Raijin. We want to have some fun with it. Well, fun
We
saving
also-
the world.
We also want to have as many people as possible survive, David. Which is why I think our top priority should most certainly be let the professionals do their fucking job.
And then the captain will gesture towards two others. They both look like dwarves, and they both are looking really closely at the cannons of the ship. Okay. No, this one's gonna need some recalibrating if we're gonna be doing an aerial battle. Let me see. Do you think we can get the ship to fly above the forest, or do you think we're gonna need to pull these out? Not sure. But either way, we've got some high yield stuff in here. Those are the Jetson twins. They're really good with heavy artillery. And, well, they're the most technically advanced people that I know. They've been able to get this ship to fly on more than one occasion. And the sort of high yield explosives they're able to get in those cannons, well, it completely astonishes me. They're true worshippers of the goddess Petrus.
Interesting. That should definitely
So
use-
these three are definitely the best on my crew. But, of course, everyone has their own abilities.
Which of your I think probably getting out that best up for the War Council beard. Who is your representative?
Well, I would be the representative of the Allied Pirates. They all came here under my banner.
Well, that's good. I'm sure that the Jigoku Umare will be able to figure out the strategy for this just fine.
Wow. Getting to fight along the Jigoku Umare. That's going to be interesting. Maybe we'll get to learn something new.
Not to mention Kana. She's kind of her whole thing is strategy.
Mm,
She'll be able
Not
to set up
bad
something
strategy.
really good.
We're not in trouble with the Virgil Brigade right now, are we? I know you're not
What
the
you're-
Navy, but you
What
know.
you are currently doing is, by its very definition, like something you should not be charged for. You should be fine. And if you're not fine, I'll just threaten anybody until you're fine.
Got it. Okay. Well, it's not like we were planning on doing anything massively illegal until after the kingdom was back on its feet. After all,
Probably
piracy
that's
isn't really
fair.
any fun. Unless, everyone's in a good state.
Right. So probably wait until after the Jigoku Umare are done making everyone a bank from, eating.
Got it.
Don't actually do that. If they're still in the building, you will be killed.
Oh, we weren't going to be robbing the bank? Not at this stage, no.
Not what I meant. No. I'm also don't rob any store that has a Jigoku Umare in it. They will kill you for slightly interrupting their meal.
Oh, I see.
Because if they do it quietly, they'll be fine.
Would you want to disturb since your buddy's hungry?
Who is that? Is that your background, Liam?
That's my background, yes.
That's his brother.
As I've
Yeah.
said, the best options for that is either me buying soundproofing or a blackjack, so...
Or what?
Is that some kind of weapon to knock someone out?
Yes, a blackjack is...
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
so,
no,
yeah, that's good.
the sandbag on the end of a stick. Yeah.
Yes, it's either called a blackjack or a flapjack. Both work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the thing from Thief.
It's also a thing from history, which is where I know it.
Mm.
Put my aircon on because that slightly dissuades him from being able to be heard. Failing that, I will just tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty straightforward method. I can see where you got your diplomacy from. It's truly a marvel to see.
Look, I'm very diplomatically attuned. I learned from the best, the Russians.
Look, the Russians are no. Look, when you think of Russia, you might think of a couple of things: snow,
Failed democracy.
bears, human rights violations, or vodka.
By the way, Raijin, you will notice that there's another person who appears to be of a rather unique heritage. She appears to be a human with a dragonborn tail and brow ridges. Your best guess is that maybe she's a half dragonborn? You don't see them very often, if at all.
Her crew suddenly is fast.
Well, what can I say? We pick people up from all over the place. And, well, let's face it, if people don't get accepted in civilized society, what typically ends up happening is they get accepted by the outcasts. Whether that's the pirates, whether that's some adventuring crew, it doesn't really matter. And she'll gesture over to the helmsman, who you'll notice is a Null. See Jeremy over there? We picked him up from one of those awful ships. I think it had a crest of one of the nobility from around here. We offered to drop him off anywhere, but, well, he said he wanted to stay on our ship.
Which
Was it the
nobility?
Windlace?
I believe it's known as the Windlace household?
Yeah, they could just got exiled, so...
Yes, I noticed that they had quite a few people on there. We've got a couple of stowaways who are just currently resting at the bottom of the ship. Because we ended up, well, we didn't realize that they were from this kingdom, so we ended up robbing them on the way here in order to get some food. And then we saw they had a bunch of people captured, so we decided to let them go. So they're here as well.
Don't worry, they're not from the kingdom.
Oh, that's good. All right, in that case, we had nothing to worry about. Yes, but
they'll be fine to stay.
They
as long
got
as they stay
exiled
with
literally yesterday.
Yes,
You were
they
right in
got
that.
it.
huh,
They got it. Well, it wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. Yeah, they got exiled, and one of the people who was kind of basically they got exiled, and another one of the people involved in this got deleted. So
deleted. Well, that sounds like an interesting story and also a rather long one.
Yes, we will deal with that at a time when we are not dealing with the threat of oncoming death and massacre.
That is
Tasha's
completely
gonna
fair
go up
enough.
to the.
Also, is it
Tasha's gonna
alright
go
if
up to the
we
Knolls.
bring these couple of friends that we managed to save from the ship? Is it alright if we bring them out with us? They'll
That's
need
fine.
somewhere to stay
So
as
again,
well. They might not be combatants, but, well, we'd like to make sure they have somewhere safe to go.
yes, that is absolutely fine. I'm sure that's funded. And once again, if anyone tries to fuck with them, I will absolutely make sure that they will regret every decision they ever made in their entire lives until they're destitute, poor, and disgustingly broke.
I like you. And you'll just hear the helmsman will just be shouting down in Null. It's okay. It's safe for you to come out. These people don't seem to be concerned about you. You'll be safe up here. And they will just slowly come up and will look out and balk a bit at the docks. Wait, is this where you were captured from? And then a couple of them will look over at Taishiro, look at the other people, and one of them will go, "Is it safe here? Are we going to be captured again?"
No,
It's fucking dead.
no, everyone that captured you is either dead or drowning at sea right now.
Way! And then you'll just see a bunch of them will just start cheering. We're safe. We're free. We're safe. I told you
guys,
you would
come-
be free.
Oh, guys, come down. Nessa says she has bread buns. You guys ever had bread buns?
Oh god. Tashiro, please, I understand.
I
you're
have not.
excited.
And then you'll just see all of the gnolls will start jumping down, as will the various members of the pirate crews.
Tasha's gonna turn to Raijin. Just Raijin, these guys have been through
I
a lot. They
understand
need some bread
that.
buns.
Give them their bread buns, yes, but can we please just let this stuff alone so we can focus on the war? I'd really rather we get this worked out so that we can have as much time as possible for preparations. It doesn't matter that there's a few days, every second counts, because every second we waste could be another dead body.
Raijin, you're handling the war efforts very well. These guys aren't going to be able to help us if we don't help them first.
I'm aware of that.
We help them.
Yes, I'm fully aware of that. What I'm just saying is, get them out their bread ones, get them somewhere where they can sleep, rest, and be for a while. We need to focus on the war effort. If we waste too much time and we don't do everything that we can, there's a chance they too will be caught up and killed in this battle.
I know. I'm just trying to help them get to the point where they can help us.
We don't need them to help us. It'd be better if they instead stayed in the sidelines. We've got plenty of actual
I'll let them-
warriors.
Well, I'll at least let them know where they can go. And Tasha's going to turn back to the Knolls and just bread buns are this way. There's also a really cool place. There's also a really cool place that keeps the Knolls that were taken in by those mean people.
There's a dedicated place for us?
Yeah.
Wow. This kingdom has really changed since I've been here.
Well, a lot of people died, so.
A couple people got. Yeah, let's see what happened. We showed up. Then we found out about the entire slavery ring because Sensha did three entire sessions worth of investigation in one.
Mm-hmm.
20-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
Just always need to preface that. That's kind of still insane.
Yes.
Then we killed all the slavers. Then we killed the Spider Queen. Then we found out about that, dealt with that situation. He got deleted. The Windlays got exiled.
And then they got robbed after they got exiled, just to add insult to injury.
Wait, they got robbed?
Oh, they also got.
As in, these pirates basically went, "Oh, these look like a rich place, and we need some food."
Literally stole. They stole from them. Oh, okay.
No, these pirates legitimately just saw the Windlace family going away from the Justine Isles, and they went, "Okay, now we're just gonna rob these guys for some food because we're running low." And then they ended up rescuing all of the gnolls there. And Taishiro, you will recognize one of them. Rakifu is there.
Wait, Nachifu?
Taishiro?
Bakifu, what are you doing on a Winley ship?
That's a pirate ship.
That's
What are
a
you doing on a
counterpoint.
What are you doing on a Winley ship?
Well, considering the fact that they were exiled, they, of course, decided they had to take their butler. Then we got mysteriously attacked by a group of pirates who said that they'd willingly let us free wherever we wanted to go. And when they said that they were heading back here, they said that they just pay for a portal for us to go anywhere. It looks like these guys are pretty stand up. How have things been here? Have things actually been improving for the people here?
Well, there's an inn now, a dedicated Knoll inn.
It's not dedicated. It's not dedicated. It's just that Arwen's paying for it.
Yeah, it's not specifically a null only inn. It's just that like 80% of the people there are nulls.
Because Arwen has been
Well, I imagine.
time to stay there.
Well, I imagine. Taishiro would probably think it's a dedicated Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a problem because that's a outright mistruth. So, but whatever.
I mean, it's an inn that's allowing Knolls into
Oh,
it.
actually,
That's
wait a
been-
second.
It's a big step up from before.
Rajan's probably able to understand them still because you know what. So just
Yeah.
Shiro, Arwen is just renting the inn. She says in fluent null.
It's still better than before.
Rocky Fu will just look over at Raijin and we'll just go, "You can speak null? When did you learn it?"
Speak everything.
Right now, this is just me using a translation spell, but I have actually been learning it as well.
I'm pleased to see that someone else is learning the language.
I find it's best to understand as many languages as possible so you can, prevent a stab in the back. It kind of happens in my family's line of work of being merchants.
Yes, I've certainly seen a lot of that from the Winley's household as well. Although, admittedly, they have a lot more reason to be stabbed in the back.
Yes, well, to say the least, the dock workers here, turns out every one of their misfortunes was done exclusively by one of the three brothers. He's dead now. The gods kind of erased him.
The Juragar, but those guys also got
Juragar are also all dead. The Juragar who were doing most of the trading are also all dead. Senshin and me sorted that one as well, alongside Taishiro and David. Let's see.
In that case, I'll have to thank you for your efforts. It seems like
there's the one guy from the Winley's house that was doing some of the big
Takeda.
stuff.
He's stolen ship, so he's done. Also,
he's still on his ship and he's still alive. Though the pirates did get a couple of good hits on him before he decided that he was just going to sit there. He got really mad when I decided I was going to get on the pirate ship.
Yeah, that figures. Also, turns out, so the dock workers, they were three brothers, right? Yusuru, Arwen, and Reed. Well, Reed is the epitome of garbage existence, or was before he was erased from existence. Yusuru, honestly, is fine, from what I've understood from him. Has no social skills whatsoever, but honestly, that's kind of to his benefit, because it means he will say what he means. And Arwen has been genuinely repentful this whole time, used Freed's finances to reimburse every single one of the dock worker Knolls and put them up there. And yeah, basically he's making this place function much better. Hopefully and he even hopes to pay the Knolls, to keep working, because turns out they're really good workers. But he's actually going to have them paid for the work that they're supposed to do, because Reed was stealing it. Because Reed is just apparently that evil.
Wait, so one of the nobles actually intended to pay us and actually thought that all of these people were employed?
Two of them did, actually. And Reed was tricking one of them, and the other one was under like 5 or 6 different mental manipulation spells.
Also, from Reed.
Also because of Reed.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot to process. But it sounds
Yeah.
like you, all of you, Taisha, you and your friends, it seems like you were able to single-handedly solve so many of the problems that have been happening here for years.
A
I
lot
did
of
say,
Maybe
did
after
say-
this war is over,
Sorry, that was good luck.
maybe I might be able to actually start building a life for the Nulls here who used to be enslaved. I
I did
can
tell you
actually
that
see a
as long as
future
you-
for us.
I did
Yeah.
say if you can trust us, we would help you. I did say that, did I not?
I guess I just didn't think you'd be able to do anything this quickly.
No, it turns out genuinely,
Sometimes-
like, although there's a lot of good people, it just there's a lot of really tricksy, bad people. I should watch my very. There's, yeah, yeah.
Raijin, let me.
Yes, I'm going to just go for a second. She'll just go walk up. Just give me a fucking beer, Rune.
Alright, no worries, man. I'm going to return to
Okay.
Rakifu,
Yeah.
sometimes the good guys really are good.
I guess I just didn't expect any kind of change like this to happen so quickly. But I'm glad about it. Well,
Yeah, stuff like this is why I became a bard.
Hmm.
Because we can
because
talk,
you want to tell stories about this kind of thing?
Oh, these stories. I mean, think about if there was anyone else in the world, any other slaves like us, who knew stories like this could happen. Well, now that you know that it can happen, what do you think?
Well, I think that I certainly know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and set up the rights of all of the gnolls here. Make sure that they all have good lives set up for them. But I don't think I'm going to settle down just yet. I want to make sure that I can save any more people that have been victimized by this Winlace family and anyone else that's involved with them. I don't think I want to rest until everyone in this world is free.
Technically,
You know?
whatever.
Then I'll tell you something, Rakifu. Next time I come across someone who isn't free, if I'm not able to save them myself, I'll let them know that you're on the way.
You bet I'll be
Give
on the
them
way.
hope. That should give them hope to keep going until you arrive. But don't let me down now. And he's just gonna like playfully punch Rakifu in the shoulder.
Same for you, and he'll just give you a light punch there as well. Now,
come on, the red buns are this way.
all right. And you'll just see Rakifu running off with a lot of the other gnolls, and they will all go to get bread buns. And then the pirates will just start going, all right, now, we can stay on our ship, but if there is a inn available, we do have some money to spare for it.
You'll have to look around the merchant districts for that. I can't.
Excellent.
If necessary, we'll probably be setting up some form of temporary camp up here.
Well, if there's not enough housing in the merchant district, then we will just stay on our ships. We do that most of the time anyway. Just might as well have a little bit of extra comfort while we're here on land.
Actually, we should probably get set up temporary housing regardless in that area. We'll have
Well-
to evacuate everyone in those low-lying areas near this forest.
I'm surprised that the portals would not be used. Well, if they are willing to not mess with any of the ship supplies, they're welcome to stay in the ships for a couple of days.
I'm sure they would use the portals. It's also just making sure, just in case.
Of course. Well, we are happy to help with whatever we can. If we are given some building materials, most of the members of the crews here are quite adept at building shelters out of them.
That should be good.
So, if you just give us some of the materials, we will happily set up.
Excellent. Well then.
All right. For now, I should probably join you to meet with the War Council, and I'm sure the rest of my crew can settle themselves down. Now, all of
Okay.
you, be good. Remember, we are to be on our best behavior while we are here.
Also, Narvok himself will shoot you down if you fuck with the people here. So he has told us overtly
We have.
When did he tell us that?
at the trial. He literally said as such.
Yeah.
So
So
idiots,
that
or else
that
God
means
will
no
strike you down.
stealings. That means no stealing anything, no starting drunken brawls, and no messing with any of our other allies. All right? We will go back to our usual behavior after we leave, and no sooner. Understood? Yes, ma'am.
Understood. Wait, was she talking to me?
I was talking to my crew, but I'm pleased to see that you're on your best behavior too. And she'll just give Taishiro a little head rub.
Okay. David, let's go. David, Taishra, let's get back now. If I'm right, this should be the majority of the War Council members.
Bye, pirates.
See you later,
See you later.
Taishiro.
War Council. We are going to see them at the War Council.
And also, they are going to be around the merchant district like all the time. You will be able to see them pretty much whenever you want.
Senshi will probably just bust into the Red Forest and I mean, just go to the Red Forest. Go, hey, I need to borrow this. Just grab Andrew and then leave the Red Forest.
He will then notice that there are 3 other ferrets that are currently just sitting on Andrew's shoulders. And Savage Steve will be instructed to remain behind.
Yeah, just grabbed one ferret and somehow ended up with 4. The question is just going to keep jumping.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice to meet you too, good sir. Thank you for picking me up.
Where's camera crew? Of course we're gonna be with him at all times. Gotta catch those cool shots.
Is this like the same with Z where you? Is this like the same deal with Z whenever Kana mentions coffee?
Oh my god! No, don't say coffee.
Well, Kana isn't here, so it's perfectly safe to say coffee. It's only when Kana's around and Kana says it that Z appears.
Oh, so there's a coffee game.
You know, at some point, you guys are probably going to want to make some checks into that.
Probably, but right now we have slightly more important
Yeah, more
stuff.
important stuff than... Because, let's face it, Z is harmless. He just goes to get Kana coffee and absolutely horrifies everyone with his ability to seemingly teleport into existence with coffee.
Yes, maybe you know what we should do during that time skip? The rest of us should train, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Kana over the back of the head with a flapjack and send him to fucking rehab for a coffee addiction.
Oh my god, Kana's training montage is just her resisting coffee.
Kana's training montage is literally just, and not only would she need to resist drinking it, she'd also need to resist mentioning it, because if she does, then Z's gonna come up with coffee.
Yeah. I'm so tempted to...
Put a curse on her so that anytime Z's within 5 meters, she gets an electric shock.
Anytime her brain starts mentioning, anytime she gets halfway through mentioning the word coffee, she gets shocked.
And I'm so tempted to just have Andrew, like, on the snout of the crocodile, just putting it right under a Khan's nose.
What's on
A Khan?
levels?
They're different campaigns, my dude.
Alright,
and different players and different player characters.
And like the exact opposite
personality
in terms of personality and life goals. Like one of them is the leader of basically the international police, and one of them's a pirate.
Yeah. So basically, we've got the leader of the Navy and a pirate.
That actually is like a fun idea to do in the future.
Actually, yeah, like
a crossover between
rank,
that two, that'd be fun.
Rank equivalent, she'd probably be like a Navy vice admiral or something.
Probably, I mean.
Yeah, I think she would be the equivalent of a vice admiral.
Actually, currently she'd be an acting admiral because she's an acting commodore.
No, as in
Commodore
her
of
role as a
Brigade.
commodore is a vice admiral.
Huh. Wait,
Her-
does that mean there's someone above Commodores?
Yes.
That is.
Yes.
Looking forward to meeting them.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, that
there's
would be
two
fun to set up in the
levels
future.
above the commodores, and that's basically going to be the fleet commodore, and then there's going to be essentially just the bunch of diplomats who specifically oversee like what the Virgil Love Brigade is supposed to do, and they chat with the various like world leaders of the different areas about what they want the Virgil Love Brigade services to be. So essentially, there's the fleet commodore, and then there's the council.
Also, Fleet Commodore is essentially the admirals, and the council is the five.
Is the five old men? Yeah.
They call it the Five Elder Stars, but I'm so glad we stuck to the Five Old Men gag.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be showing
The five
respect
old
to them.
farts.
The five
Yeah.
geriatrics.
The five boomers.
The five boomers. Yes, that's their name now.
The five geriatric politicians.
That too, but I prefer boomers.
the, five, the five bastard boomers.
Oh
Boomer bastards.
The five Republicans.
dear.
Careful, this is being recorded.
Yeah.
So,
They give a fuck. My dislike of them is well documented.
I don't care if I go on record to say I don't like the Republican Party. I don't care. I'm not opposed to saying that or being known for disliking them. Anyway, enough about the
Cancel.
Republicans and the five old farts. Let's get back to the session. So, yeah, now that most of the Allied forces have arrived, you will all return back to the War Council. You will be bringing the pirates with you. Senshin will be bringing Andrew with him. The Jigoku Umare people are already there. And you will see a mysterious figure who is standing at the gate of the castle. He will look to be human, fairly tall, but has almost glowing yellow eyes. And he will just politely knock at the gate. Hello there? I am here on the request of the Taida family. I am here to represent my forces in the War Council. May I please enter? Sure. And so the gates will open, and this man will enter through, as will you guys. And you will all end up sitting down at the War Council. So currently, Kana, you will recognize him.
Yeah, I was saying that as Taishiro.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying Kana will recognize him, but none of the rest of you will. Okay, so the force is currently here. Let me see. So there is the Jigoku Umare clan, which is going to be led by Senshin's father. There is the Ferret Gang, which is led by Andrew. There is going to be the Allied Pirates, which is led by Captain Anna. There is the Wyvern Battalion and any of the nobles who decided they wanted to get involved in the fighting, who will be led by the Queen. And then there's the 48th units of the Virgil Love Brigade, led by Kana. And this mysterious figure, who's representing the Taida forces.
The 48th unit, right? Not the 48 units.
48th units.
Okay.
Because there's
So
two
sorry,
units
I'm wrong.
technically, because there's the Senshin unit and there is the Ryoko unit.
I ain't signed no fucking documents, but whatever.
Yeah, officially officially no.
But realistically, yeah.
Officially no, but as far as Kana's concerned, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, well, time for the walkout to sit down.
All right. So everyone will end up sitting down. It looks like this one is a specially formed round table made of wood. It looks like it was specially made for this one meeting. None of you have seen it around the castle before. All right.
Thanks, Hashirama.
All right. Now, I've gathered you all here today to request your aid in defending this kingdom. there will be an invasion in exactly 7 days of various Fey forces. They've said that they intend to invade specifically because they wish to punish this kingdom for transgressions that Reed Rinsei has committed against them. They also said that the only condition under which they would not invade this kingdom is if they were provided with the bodies of 30 gnolls every month for the remainder of Reed's natural life. Unfortunately, that has been determined to be his average lifespan rather than how long he would survive. So, despite the fact that he is dead, they do not consider that to be enough. Our job is to ensure that we are able to defend this kingdom from their forces. And for that, I have called all of you here today to ask for your assistance. And I thank you for answering the call. So, our goal here is to plan our strategy and ensure that we are prepared for their invasion. With that being said, I believe that the Virgil Up Brigade's units have some information on the invasion. Would you like to go ahead with that? And she will just gesture towards Senshin, and everyone will start to notice that there is a little pixie on his shoulder and look a little confused.
All right then. Can we get like an overlay up on the table, please?
What the table looks like?
No, what I mean is that was Senshin asking if you had a map up for.
Oh, okay, that was Senshin. Okay, yeah.
I'll put it up, and Kana will cast Major Illusion to.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. So the major illusion will be of the forest. So I will move you guys over to this map.
Excellent. All right. Now, this little pixie here is Raina.
Hi.
She chose to go against the Feywilds due to them essentially conscripting her into this nonsense, because they're awful people and all that. Either way, she has told me the locations of every single tree. I know the other two names, but I can't remember them as me, so. What are they called again?
The cairns and the fairy circles.
Yeah, every cairn and every fairy circle, which will function as portals during the days for the invasion.
You will notice that around the circle, the Jugoku Umare clan looks pretty pleased and proud with you, and it looks like the pirates will be genuinely shocked, but seem to be smiling a bit and just trying to act particularly friendly towards Reina. It looks like that's kind of their deal.
I like this girl.
It's like, you're a weirdo. I like you. You're a weirdo who, people tried to stomp down on your freedom and you decided that you were going to go out of your way to make yourself free. We like you.
Well then, the major locations are these, as he'll point up I imagine Raina will be able to cast something that puts up the bits they found.
Yeah. All right. So as you can see here, the areas that are lit up, these are the cairns. These will be where they'll be sending through most of their larger beasts and most of their major artillery. The trees and the fairy circles are likely going to be where pixies and smaller creatures such as myself will be coming through. So, in most likelihood, you should just need to insert some deadstone into various portals from the trees.
So how are we going?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I do like Taishuru's whole thing with the pirates.
Oh, yeah. That
Mm-hmm.
was awesome.
Yeah. So what do you think of
Now,
Anna?
Everyone be on your best behavior. She's pretty cool so far. Hasn't done a whole lot, but it's in character.
Yeah.
Everyone be on your best behavior. Okay. Wait, she wasn't talking to me, was she?
No, I wasn't, but I'm pleased to see you're on your best behavior. Just, okay, you're cute. You're a friend of my niece. You're cool.
Oh, man.
She's kind of just the person that adopts literally everyone.
Oh, so she's the
Okay,
she's
I'm back.
Luffy.
She's the what?
Welcome back. She's Luffy.
Well, more like the
Actually,
motherly
Yami.
adoption rather than the friend adoption, but yeah.
So Yami.
Yes.
So what happened?
She is the
I had to
Yami,
drop off for a sec.
We were talking about Anna while you were gone.
the
Wonderful.
pirate captain.
Okay then. Great. So, is there anything special about the fairy circles?
Well, there's nothing particularly special about them except for the fact that they're a lot more difficult to destroy than either the cairns or weaken like the trees. Unfortunately, there's very little we can do to prevent stuff from coming through them because, well, even if we destroy the mushrooms, the roots will still be there, which means that the circle won't fully be destroyed. It's going to require a lot more effort, and it could end up destroying significant parts of the forest if we were to attempt to destroy all of the fairy circles. It likely wouldn't recover for several generations if we were to do that. They're going to be the most difficult areas to block.
We can't allow them to get that many troops through all at once, especially in an area we can't cover too well. My best hope would be if we could cut it down to only this and this. There's 2 points they can come through. That's an immediate bottleneck.
Cutting it down, trying to cut it down to here and here would be difficult, especially if we don't have the upper hand in terms of which portal they'll come through.
If we can destroy the portals. That's the thing. If we can do that, the massive weakness that they'll suddenly have, plus an open flat ground for us.
How long will it take to destroy the portals?
How long would you estimate it would take one person to destroy a portal?
Well, let's see. For a cairn, they'd need to move one stone and then it would be inoperable. And for one of the tree portals, they just need to cut off the branch that has the portal symbol on it and then burn it. That would be all that would be required.
Why don't
Realistically,
we just destroy all the portals then? Prevent the whole invasion from happening.
they'll find a different way around it.
Because
See,
it's
the
nearly
problem
impossible
is-
to destroy a lot of the fairy rings. The other types of portals are pretty easy to destroy, but the fairy rings are, well, it's going to be a challenge to say the least. You'd need to destroy the entire mushroom root system, which means you'd
Those
need to
are the ones
upheave
up
pretty
here,
much
right?
all of the.
The fairy rings are the ones up here, and she'll make
The
No, that's one of the cairns. The fairy rings are the purple mushrooms shown on the map.
What about necrotic? What about something which just deals with necrotics? That might be able to kill the system without destroying the entire forest.
That could actually work because then it would travel through the exact root system.
Looks like the Dubel family might actually be useful for something.
I mean, pretty useful. Their weapons are definitely going to be functioning for a lot more than the Titus are because of the limitations.
And you'll just see Lugard smirking over at you.
Look, Heresy will definitely be beneficial. I'm going to be wielding it just the same as I'm going to be wielding a Dead Stone. We can't really be... If you guys want to keep your stupid family squabbles in the middle of this, then that's going to only make this harder.
Relax, Senshin. We're just having a
I
little
wasn't
jab.
just talking to you.
My first loyalty
Well,
is to the kingdom, not against the Taida family.
Wonderful, then keep it that way. Don't think about anything else.
There's so many of these. There's so many of these mushrooms, though. How are we gonna get rid of all of them?
We have an army of over 1,000, and there's way less than that in there, Kana. We have a week.
Plus, more of our forces will be arriving by the day. This is only about a third, maybe a quarter of the Jigoku Umare forces that we're expecting to have. It's just a couple of them are a few days behind because they had to travel by sea.
If that's the case, I'd still recommend trying to destroy all the portals while we can.
I would suggest, yeah, but we shouldn't destroy all of them. They'll still come back again and again regardless. If they can find a way in, they'll use it. The fact is, the only way to defeat them here is to completely crush them in combat. show them that messing with this kingdom isn't. If they want to try and mess with this kingdom, they better be ready to have the unseelie cord ready to cut them behind while they're doing it. The fact is, these people will not stop, Kana. There's not a solution to this that will not go to war. What we need to do is prove to them that war against us will lead to slaughter on their end and a victory on ours.
Plus, even if we destroy all of the portals in Elder's Forest, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up coming up from the sea, or they're going to end up coming through the Red Forest. They're going to find other portals. There's no way we can destroy every single portal to the Feywilds that exists on this continent. And even if we destroy all the ones around Orthrend, they're still going to find some other forest that's a bit further away, and then just sneak through the trees. And then we won't know where they're coming from.
We are ready here. We are prepared here. We know the locations here. The option is simple.
Here's what we need to make.
Their entrances as few as possible, and make sure they're in areas we have at best, which has to be anywhere that's open. Faye would have an advantage amongst the trees.
If that's the case, we'd have to choose. We'd have to make sure we choose which entrances to keep open. We can't get rid of too many, otherwise they'll just take those other options. We have to keep at least. I'd say we'd have to keep at minimum a third of them available, if not half.
What we should do then is the cans are going to be the most dangerous ones. If they can pull through large beasts and artillery, we need to reduce them as much as possible. Amending plan for a suggestion here. Evacuate everyone along the flank over here. Get everyone out of that. That area is going to be turned to a battlefield, and force them in through this area, and make sure we can keep everything around. Put you from here down around. Destroy everything. Kill it. Destroy any way in behind that.
What if
headstone spikes we can inject into the trees will weaken them as they come through. If we reduce their artillery the most, that immediately reduces their ability to stop us, especially with many aerial units. Push them out through a guard at the back. Force them out from a guard from the back onto the flat area and annihilate them there.
If we put, what we could also do is put a perimeter around these portals here, and get rid of the portals that are outside of this area. That way while they would be fighting in the forest with something of an advantage, we would have the upper hand of being able to ambush them before they come through the portals at all.
We have the same advantage. We still have the exact same advantage if we do it my way, except we also aren't fighting in unfavorable terrain. We have to the option is easy enough to just force them out of the forest into flat grounds. Once we do that, the Wyvern Riders can take them apart. Aerial units will be perfectly fine and everything like that. And we should reduce the damage done to the forest to a minimum. In addition to that, definitely reduce the damage done to the surrounding city as well.
Kana, I'd like you to watch me closely. And you'll just see that Reyna will fly off of Senshin's shoulder and will fly in front of just a little fern that's in the corner of the room. She will completely disappear. Even though you are watching her for the entire time, she is completely invisible. And then she will appear behind you and will tap your shoulder. You were watching me that entire time, and I was able to do that. Now imagine there were hundreds of me doing that, and also casting enchanting spells on you. My point being, it's not going to be good terrain for you. It's better if you do it in a city away from the trees. That is where you're going to have the advantage. You're going to be severely weakening yourselves by putting yourselves in that position. Plus, also, most of your flying units won't be able to have the same strength.
How are we going to be able to get them out of the forest, though?
Because they're going to go out of the forest.
If they're able to do what you just did, and they're aware of an attack, on them, they're not going to leave their safe ground.
Of course they are. Because they think they're better than you.
Okay.
They all think they're better than you. Because of the fact that they're Fae, so clearly they must have some conceptual advantage. Because they're able to use enchantment spells. Because they're connected to the trees. They think that none of you stand a chance. Even if you're warned. They have the biggest egos of, well, anyone I've ever seen. And frankly, it surprises me that other people outside the Feywilds don't. though it is a pleasant surprise. They want to crush you.
That's the
They
case,
want to destroy every single one of you, and they will leave the forest to do that.
If that's the case, the question still remains: how do we get which? Oh God, trying to get rid of this thing that I built. The question still remains: which of these portals should we destroy? Like I said, we can't destroy too many, or else they'll just try and take those other options.
Cut them down to what we could do is cut them down to a third. With the highest reduction, would they be suspicious if we cut? Would they be suspicious if the majority of them were the heavy artillery, or would they change their plans somehow if that happens? What do you think, Raider?
Well, what they probably do, they'd probably try and send most of the heavy artillery from one side and then most of the other forces from another. So it's likely if you destroy most of the heavy artillery entrances in Ilder's Forest, they'll try and send the heavy artillery through the Red Forest. Which, honestly, that might be a better plan because that way you can set up a better blockade there than you could from Ilder's Forest because there's only really one entrance.
Yeah, plus, Andrew, you know the Red Forest better than anyone here.
Oh, yes, I definitely do, good sir. I know my way around there pretty easy.
And if we leave, then I'll make sure we can get a group with you, and you can crush the artillery as well. That way, we can deal with them. If we deal with the majority of the numbers and smash their artillery to pieces at the same time.
If I may, perhaps some of the archers of the Taida family would also be able to assist in that endeavor. We should be able to position ourselves upon the cliffs, and, well, we are all extremely effective with Hero's Steel.
You go there.
Levi. Not to mention Levi, you have
I would want Levi Levi should not go there. He should stay with us on the main field.
I was thinking that it would be good for him to go there for the sake of Nobleheart. He can create a barrier with it. I've seen the capabilities of that barrier. It's
So what you're thinking is I could, with a small complement of soldiers, keep everyone from entering into the kingdom, and then they will be sniped from two sides by our Taida family forces as well as the Ferret gang. Is that what you were thinking?
Yes, but also you'd be able to protect this. But you'd be able to protect the citizens from the heavy artillery far better than anyone else. You'd be able to act as a wall that they'd have to try and break through whilst they're being attacked from all sides.
I actually planned to send the citizens away for the couple of days while this invasion was occurring. While I am certain that our forces are strong, I would rather we ensure their safety.
Well, the city itself. You can protect far better than anyone else. That's why I think it's a good idea for you to be on the. I think it's a good idea for you to be protecting against the heavy artillery.
I can do that, and it will be good to fight alongside these forces.
Although you will have to set aside your pride with the Red Forest gang.
They can do what they like. Their job is to snipe. My job is to ensure that they get no further.
I think Liam disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Oh, that's all good then.
Which would leave most of the rest.
Oh, sorry.
No. So we have the Taida family taking. We have the Taida family and the Red Forest gang, as well as Levi taking care of the invasion from the Red Forest. Who else?
So the Taida family and the Red Forest gang will be specifically defending the Red Forest entrance. Defending Red Forest entrance from artillery.
The Dubella needed to place traps upon the different portals. Who else are we gonna?
Okay, I missed like the last couple minutes. I had to do stuff. What's happened?
Levi and the Taida family have been set on the entrance to the Red Forest.
Right.
Because he will be almost single-handedly blocking a lot of the artillery from entering into the kingdom.
Okay, that does make sense then.
Noble
So
has
he and a
even-
couple of his soldiers are going to be blockading that area.
So Nobleheart has basically matched a shield, large shield effect. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
fair there then.
That's why I figured it'd be good to have him blocking the heavy artillery. We're just trying to
Yeah.
think of who else could go up there because we need the Dubel family. I'll swap back into character. We need the Dubel
Mhm.
family to. We need the Dubel family to take care of booby trapping the. Hold on. What's the?
We can do that
Okay,
in the
booby
7
trapping
days
the-
up until the first day of the invasion. And
It's not
bear in
good.
mind that our forces will be primarily focused on building weapons over the next couple of days rather than defending. On the
we'll not
day,
be-
I, of course, will
say
be
that.
defending, but I am the only fighting member of this family. My
well,
brother
that's
is
really
a
good
smith,
for
and
defense.
my wife is not equipped for combat.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. You're not. That's not necessary. So long, the majority of the forces will be there. If we have archers and the Red Forest gang dealing with everything in the Red Forest, that'll triple their heavy artillery. Do you think they sent through most of day 1, or would they send through most day 3?
We should also get Dubel.
I believe
to
they
send
would-
a soldier as well.
I think they would send most of theirs on day 1. They'd be trying for a decisive defeat and making it very quick. So, in all likelihood, while they may stagger their main forces, they're likely to try and send all of their heavy artillery through on day 1.
All right,
They're
so if we
not
can-
likely to leave much behind.
So if we do that, we can basically only need to split our forces on the first day.
Most likely, yes. Because what might be useful is if we destroy all of the cairns in Ilder's Forest and then all of the very few mushrooms and several trees in the Red Forest, then they'll be forced to segment their forces in the way that we decide.
Plus, they seem, well, stupid enough to just assume that they can win regardless.
Yes, they have that kind of ego.
Fantastic. In that case, Levi,
Mm.
I need you to work. I want you and Andrew to be working together properly for all of that. I know he's
No,
interesting, but he means well enough that he should be easy to work with. Hell, man, want to check him for hero steel. He may actually be, what's the word? Compatible.
Levi will just head over and will pass him a dagger of hero steel. See how much this glows.
alright.
And he'll hand it to Andrew. Now, considering the fact that you have rescued a bunch of dolls from really dangerous situations just because you wanted to, and the fact that you basically volunteered to protect this kingdom from a really heavy invasion because you felt like it, I'm gonna say it glows pretty brightly for you.
Yeah, look, the
Oh.
flippant nature for his heroism, like even if he's doing it kind of for fame, but he is also genuinely intending to save all these people. So
Yeah, like he qualifies as a hero in my book. So yeah, it will grow pretty brightly for him. All right.
Oh wow.
Looks like you'll be able to
Yeah.
use it pretty well. What kind of weapon do you
Yeah.
prefer?
Some bow and some arrows.
All right.
Enough
So
of-
we'll use hero steel for the tips of the arrows then. Well, that shouldn't require too much of it.
perfect. Well, okay? It's Red Forest is a lot more of your deal. So Andrew, I think you'll be best to work. I think you'll be best to work with Levi specifically on that. I trust both of you to have the capabilities to deal with them easily. Crash on day 1. Then we can all join up back together and complete and destroy them for the next 2 days of the invasion.
Yeah, no worries, good sir.
I don't
also need to
suppose we'd
consider-
happen to know what kind of forces they'd have as heavy artillery, would we?
Raina?
Well, let me see. They'd probably have a lot of displacer beasts, owlbears, various large creatures from the Feywilds, and they'd probably have regular humanoid-sized fairies riding them in most... That's what I'd estimate anyway. Or it's entirely possible that they might send through some of those animals just by themselves with a couple of trainers just instructing them from the back. Actually, I think that's the most likely.
Druid? You're druids, right? Still in the Red Forest gang.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's where we are.
Then switch their forces to ours.
I like that idea.
So
Yeah,
we
we should
just
do
get to
that.
make friends with a bunch of weird animals and then maybe get them to join our gang? That sounds like fun.
I'm not.
Be careful though. We
That
don't
is
know.
not a possibility. That is that is not like a request. That is an order.
Oh, that's a
Do
happy
that.
order.
Do
Just
that. You
be-
can completely convert the battle around.
Just be careful. We don't know if they've been placing enchantments on these creatures. It's entirely possible that they've not exactly been building a loyalty bond with them.
Typically,
That's they
it's
were talking about after all.
typically it's a case of either just speaking with the animals or the enchantments don't last on a long range. So if it's any kind of charm spell, provided either the magic is dispelled, the caster is killed, or the caster is just sent to another realm, then it will stop working. In other words, the if there is a charm being cast on them, the caster will have to be close by. Otherwise it won't work.
And that would make
So
them.
once you get rid of the caster, they won't have any charms on them.
And so I can leave. I'll leave the beast. So I think we should leave the beast of the Red Forest gang and the tamers to you to the Tider.
Very well done. I will make sure that our arrows strike true.
If that's the case, does that mean? Oh, and also Levi, bring the police as well. Can't have too many people.
No,
Can't
I
have
think we
too many
should split
people in
those.
war.
We should split those forces. If we're dealing with the major force, they should go with the Jigoku Umari, the pirates, and the others, all for the main area.
I would like
artillery
to take about
West Coast.
5 to 10 of the police to ensure the strength of the barrier. I shouldn't need
Easy.
more than that, though.
Easy. If you need that many, then I'll trust your judgment.
I shouldn't need more than that, and then the rest of them should be able to operate under you guys. I'll instruct them that they're to follow your instructions on the other fronts.
Okay, that'll work well then. We can't put too many troops around that area, especially considering while they're using their heavy artillery, if we can, that area should be easily converted on the first day. What we need to do is make sure that they can't get the foothold at all from the other Fae. If we get a foothold, then it doesn't matter how many artillery we take out, we'll be fighting a battle which we're losing. We need to make sure they have to come out from the portals every single day.
Of course, if they start realizing that the portals are being,
They're too egotistical. They won't.
They're egotistical. They're not idiotic. Will change their.
No, they are that idiotic. They aren't that. No, Connor. They are not that smart. They will stick to this strategy of this.
These are Fabians.
They want it to be decisive. But they're not.
They don't value their troops.
They're going to. If they realize they're losing for
Connor,
a significant period of
they
time,
do not value their troops. They couldn't care less. They will send them through again and again and again in the same strategy that cannot win for them. We do not need to worry about them changing strategy. What we need to do is exhaust their troops before they can even get a foothold.
The generals aren't going to value their troops. The only chance that they're going to have of changing their strategy is if some of the people manage to return and tell the captains what's going on. Then it might be a case of the lower level commanders may be sending people at slightly different angles to flank. That's going to be the main thing that they're going to attempt to do. I'd suggest making sure that there's some kind of scouting force that's keeping an eye on the Red Forest even once the artillery's gone, just in case. It's entirely possible they might start to send regular forces through the cairns since we can't weaken them too much.
We can leave that to we could leave that to injured troops, or those we could actually just leave that to more of the injured troops. If they're only sending a few as a flanking force, any of those that are either exhausted or that can be put on scouting duty for the next day.
What may also be useful is if there's anyone capable of creating short-range portals, perhaps putting one of those there so that way we can have a little bit of a link between the injured troops keeping an eye out for a flanking force and any healthy troops that we'll need to send there.
Anyone good with that?
Well,
no complaints here.
And then
anyone able to do that.
And you'll see a familiar looking Null sit up and she'll go, well, I can do it. I'm able to manage a lot of the portals of the city, and I've been working as an apprentice of the Akijon family for most of my life, so I reckon I could do it if you need me to.
Then we'll have you do it. We'll also
All
have
right.
you guard around at all times.
I should be able to help out with that if you'd be willing.
As the guard, as guard, or as guard, or as just an assistant with the spell.
I mean, bit of both.
I didn't know you
I
knew
can
how
maybe-
to make portal spells, Tashur.
Well, I can. Well, I know a little bit about I know a little bit about magic, and
Portal spells are
I
rather
am able to see.
complicated.
I am able to see souls, so I should be able to. I should be able
Mhm.
to see anyone
Mm.
that's coming.
That's
Prob-
that would be helpful as a guard, but in all honesty, I don't think that would help all that much in making the portals.
No, you're a plus. You're a buffer. Be better off considering your ability with spells that can buff people. It'd probably be better if you could assist us up there. I'll leave some Jigoku. I'll leave some Jigoku Umrai elites alongside you. You go with that?
I'm good with that, yeah. And,
Excellent.
well, if everything gets particularly hairy, I am able to teleport short distances to get myself out of danger. I may not be much
Got
of a
it.
fighter, but I definitely do have the ability to move people. I can make some
Well,
pretty
we
big
need-
portals, too.
I'll need you to make sure. I'll use you as our link between the Red Forest and Elder's Forest.
Got it.
Well, I'll make sure that we have, and I'll make sure I have at least some of our elites stationed alongside you at all times. They should be worth enough that we just sending a couple of them will be in good.
This still brings up the. This still brings up the question that we need to answer. Which portals do we destroy?
I've already covered this. We take out every single one of the cans in Elder's Forest. Then, if they're going to come out for us, we need to make sure they can't send out as many troops in a large area. What I'd suggest is probably taking out everything. I'd probably suggest
This area?
that's still too far in there. We need it to be so that they have as little time as possible to spread out.
Portals all the way over. There's also portals all the way over here as well.
Yeah,
all the way up
what I'm
here. So we need to-
suggesting.
What we could do is try and take out all of the portals that are at the front and leave only the ones that are in the back area. But that would mean
I'm
there would be-
suggesting
there'd be
something
the
along the
front.
lines of this. Take out as many as possible of that. Take out everything behind here so they're forced to come out into this area. That's a wide open field and they will come out to us. Ren has confirmed that already.
It's a very large amount. It's a very large amount. Are we sure that's not going to ring any alarm bells?
Would it?
Let me see. Well, I reckon for the lower level commanders it might, but not for the higher level commanders. So what's likely to happen is
If we just-
the lower level commanders won't be informed of the situation on the other side by the higher level commanders who won't be concerned for their lives. So what will end up happening is if we can make sure that we can get to them before they have time to react, then it's unlikely that the lower level commanders are going to be able to do anything about it. The main concern we're going to have is the lower level commanders of the individual units on days 2 and 3. That's when they're going to be most likely to change.
We can
What
check.
about that?
I'll
what
check
about
depending.
also-
I'll change plan depending on how it goes on days 2. Here's another
What about the left
idea
side of
I've
this
just
line?
come up with. How often? One sec. How often do you guys backburn your forests?
Not very often at all. Typically, everything tends to stay pretty well maintained in the Feywilds, and, well, no one really knows that much about plants outside of there.
So, but you do occasionally
the
have some
first-
form of forest fire, correct?
Never,
do it
actually.
Are you saying Are you suggesting throwing like Molotov cocktails through the portals?
No, what I would suggest, I was suggesting we do a what would be best known as a backburn of Ilda's Forest. That way, it could also look just as much like a natural occurrence, especially if we can get a storm in a little day before, so it might have been due to a lightning strike. That way,
I think I know who we can. I think we know who we can ask for that.
it wouldn't raise red flags if it's natural, would it?
No.
And we know that the gods are willing to aid us a little bit, so maybe we can just ask. We could just ask.
I could do the lightning strike. So I'll just raise her hand. I'm most
That's
attuned to
true.
lightning elements anyway.
I suggest that we do everything on the left side of left side of this blue line. That way we can. That way we have a. That way we have a solid direction which
No.
we can push the rest of them.
Carter, no, that's a bad idea. That will put our backs to Red Forest. If Levi's squad fails there, then we're pinned in between them. It's better instead if we do everything to the right
To
of
the
my
left side. This side.
Eli, that is the left. That left side. Yes, the left side there. Eli.
So they could only be. So we destroy
your
the,
backs. That would put it. So we just
so we
everything.
destroy all the portals here, and then we set this part on fire, which would push these guys out this way to us, for us to be able to attack them here.
That was already Carter. That was my plan.
Yes, I was just saying we should do it. We should destroy these portals instead of the ones on the other side of this line, because if we destroy the ones on the other side of this yellow line, these people up here can still head up towards the Red Forest and trap them.
So when I was drawing that line, I basically just missed a couple of them. My plan is literally just they will come out to where the majority of our troops are. They can see our troops, and there's houses here too. What we need to do is take out all of that, and also because I've missed these,
Get a fire.
everything up here too. We need to make sure that they can't take the bridge. We need a defensive group there
That's
as well.
too much. That's far too many portals. They'll catch on.
They won't catch on, Carter. I have to stress this enough. They will not catch on. The low-level commanders are our only concern. The higher-ranking commanders might change squad strategy, but the low levels will not. Sorry, the high levels will not change strategy, but the low levels will. They are our only concern, and they are only likely to come on the second day. What we need to do is make sure that we have the current paradigm set up day one. If we take out the artillery is our biggest focus, and we need to make sure we stall them for the first day of the combat. Once we do that, we will likely have to change plans due to that, which is where I think we should destroy the large majority of them but leave only a couple weakened. Day two, weaken as many as possible using the deadstone spikes.
If we start a fire in these places, that should cause it to spread far enough to push them in this direction. Then we can attack them from this side facing towards the Red Forest.
Where'd they come at anyway?
Come out of where? The part that's on fire?
The forest. What I was suggesting was using the backburning as a way to make it look less suspicious. Would that not work, Rainer? We don't need to worry about the fire coming. We don't need to worry about the fire on the day. We can't do it 3 times in a row. Oh, actually. So Rajan gets that message. 1 second. Catalyst. So you choose a catalyst summon and get Coco over here.
I have some concerning news up from the Sealy courts.
That's good.
Anything's helpful at this point.
The queen, who has been ruling for several hundred years, appears to be dead. That is a concern for you, because of the fact that the new ruler appears to have formed a truce with the Unseelie court. It's likely there's going to be Unseelie forces as well.
Oh shit. Okay.
And that means that we can't rely on anything at this point.
No, we need to get. Okay. Yeah, we're cutting down the. Will that change how we would act? Will it have to change how we would actively do this?
It will change how they're likely to act.
I should warn you.
We can no longer safely assume that they're going to be too egotistical.
We need to focus.
I should warn you, the forces from the Unseelie court are less likely to underestimate you. While the Sealy court is known for their ego, the Unseelie court is typically a lot more accepting of other races, which, unfortunately for you, means that they won't have the same ego problems as the Sealy court.
We can no longer take the risk that they're not going to change their strategy.
Shit. That was way too poorly timed.
I figured it was information that you needed to have.
Yeah, we'll need that if we have to increase that troop consideration. Will that change day one strategy? Will that change their day one strategy, do you believe, Coco?
Day one, let me see. They're likely to send through a slightly different combination of troops, but I doubt it's going to change their main strategy.
No, the heavy artillery is the only area we'd be concerned of.
My main
Wait, does
concern,
one Sealy
however,
Court have...
while the Sealy Court, I believe that they are likely to maintain on task, several members of the Unseelie Court, if they start to see that the battle is going too poorly, they may attempt to seek refuge in various hidden areas outside of the forest. That being in the ocean, in various abandoned houses, that sort of thing. They're likely to look for other places to hide and snipe.
Which means we... Wait, does the Unseelie Court have access to other portals that the Sealy Court doesn't?
No,
No.
no.
To-
All
Oh,
members,
that's good.
all people from the Feywilds have access to the same portals. Unless,
Well, I still suggest...
oh,
Well, I still suggest... What?
Shut up. What's that?
they have a wizarding school. So
Fuck.
they likely
What's that
have
mean?
wizards that know how to use portals, which means that they could set it up anywhere they could see.
Which means we now have a priority of... Which means we now have a priority of defeating anyone that comes through the portal before they can set anything up.
What the problem is the forest. We need
An
to come-
anti-magic field would likely be quite effective at preventing portals from appearing where you don't want them to, but that would require some mages from your end.
We need another intensity.
And Isuru will just step forward and will say, if any of you have any way of charging my mana, I should be able to do it myself.
Wait. David.
Oh yeah?
David. You are... You're an adept user of rune magic as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Isuru.
Mm.
Coco.
Yeah,
Do you know if runes can be used for setting up perimeters?
they could absolutely be used for setting up perimeters, especially. Let me see. So you could probably use a couple of different perimeters. You could have a cold iron perimeter, and then you could also have an anti-magic perimeter. So that way you'll have a perimeter which simultaneously weakens any fey creatures and also prevents teleportations.
If that's
It
the
would
case-
require a lot of mana though.
If that's the case, we could set up a perimeter around an anti-magic perimeter around the entire forest.
That would just
Obviously putting it out a couple putting it out a kilometer or so that it doesn't. That way they can't put portals
areas so they
anywhere
can't
that
come
isn't
to-
instant.
You need something so they can't come into this.
Well, they wouldn't be able to create any portals outside of the anti-magic barrier. Am I
What
correct?
if we remove the forest? If only temporarily.
How would that even be possible?
We need to ask for help from Lord Dane. If we can if they lose their stealth advantage, if only for Ilders, and only in small areas, we could turn that, instead of needing to worry about removing this and leaving trees, we could only need to worry about a small section where they have to come out from. That way we can completely encircle them without needing to worry about damage to the surroundings. That would involve asking for help from a from a member of the Zodiac, but
It would also involve a member of the Zodiac turning against. Well, from what I understand, the Fae are very, very, incredibly pious towards life, coming from the
They're also-
Feywild.
what they're also doing here, but if we do this, we'd also reduce the chance of mass death on our side.
True.
What they're doing here is with the intent of a massacre, a genocide. They want to kill everyone in this city, in this kingdom, just to prove something. If we ask for help here, we can reduce casualties to a significant degree and remove any advantage they could have. All we need is 3 days without the majority of the forests.
Certainly a possibility.
Does anyone think we can do that?
Still don't see why we can't just. I still don't see why we can't destroy the.
Because
why we
they will
can't
keep
destroy the-
Kana, they will keep coming. I think we've made that as clear as we possibly can.
No, not all of the portals, just the ones on the other side of this line. Set up some fires around here.
Because we
push
can't
them
keep the
away.
fires up for multiple days. Well, after a while, we'll burn them out. If we do this, we don't need to worry about the fire strategy. And we reduce the amount of trees which they can come from. We can turn it into a battle on plains. We have the advantage on plains.
Then that becomes another question. Is anyone here pious to Lord Dane?
Not specifically.
I don't know about Lord Dane, but from what I understand, most of the Zodiacs will be far more likely to answer the prayers of someone who's actually pious towards them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. God. Shit.
Hold on. For pieties. I've only got pieties to Narvok and Axum.
Taishiro, you would be legitimately one of the worst choices
Mm-hmm.
to ask.
For Dane?
Yes.
I would have thought that'd be the guy that wields Deadstone.
Out
Yeah,
of the
she had a-
party, out of the player characters, you would be literally the worst person to contact Dane.
I do not understand why, but whatever.
Yes, it's because of a factor that is specifically being kept secret from you because it hasn't been revealed yet. But let me just say,
Okay.
as the DM, knowing more about your character's secret stuff than you do right now.
Okay, so it's a secret thing that I don't know.
Yes, yes, it's something you don't specifically know about. You probably could have guessed it, but you don't specifically have it confirmed. But speaking as DM, Taishiro is not the best choice. He's actually probably the worst.
I do have an idea.
You do?
It's probably not a very good one, but there is Fug. Like, he can raise up the earth, which means we could essentially create a trench or some kind of wall that narrows them down.
Wait. Doesn't Thug owe you 3 favors and you've only used 2 of them?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that is correct.
Put him into a pit and put him into
No. He can just move the trees out of the way without it. It's his own. The world is his body. He can move the trees which we want, and without it in a way that means that he can move that out of the way.
Does this mean we could? This means we could relocate the forest to, say, the Underdark for a temporary period.
What we need to do is we need to, if we can, turn this from a battle in a forest to a battle in the plains, with outcroppings of trees. Do you think you could get it so that he could move? Because if we do that, we can reduce the portals by only half in Elders, because the issue was the terrain advantage. If we only reduce it by half, and we move them to what? Because there's a large area of plains just outside the city, right?
Mm.
If we have him temporarily move Elder's Forest there, then we can just have a battle outside of the city. If it's outside the city with portals in between the two.
As long as we have the portal to get back to the city, that'd be a good idea. Of course, if we fail...
The portal back to the city will be here as long as I'm here.
Of course, if we lose, we can... Of course, if we lose, we'll have to cancel that portal.
If we lose, we've lost anyway.
Well, if we lose, we can at least cancel the portal to make it more difficult for them to get to the city, allowing the rest of the troops time to...
We don't plan on losing. What we're planning on doing is winning.
It's not a plan on losing, it's just a backup.
We don't have a... If you plan on losing, you're just going to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're not planning on losing it. David.
Yeah?
If you can get this third favor to move it, we've got a large plain area outside there. If you can get his favor so that he moves out every one of the... if he can move out a small area of trees or fairy circles outside the city to the large plains area, leaving each one spaced out. If we do that, we can completely encircle them.
Yeah. David's just going to take out a sound rune or one of those sending runes, and he's like,
Yep.
"Yep, don't worry, I got it all down." David's just going to go off and pray to Fug.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not very good at this sort of thing, but is it possible? Would we be able to somehow use the Underdark to our advantage?
No,
I mean, now that it's empty,
yep,
maybe
use
we
the
can
other-
attack them from below.
no. We'd have to move all of our troops to the Underdark as well. It's better if we keep
It would not be advantageous terrain for either side. It would be likely that we would suffer far more deaths than we would if we were to do it on the surface, even within the trees.
We need to use the plains. If we can use the plains, that gives us advantageous terrain and them disadvantageous terrain. If we use the Underdark, that's disadvantageous for both of us. We can use if the Underdark is empty, however, we could use it as a temporary refuge. Though, how good of an idea that